Warsaw was much better today, at first, but then it conspired to make us enraged all over again. What is with this place? Hi, I'm Jeremy. Thanks for watching. I was extremely mad at Warsaw after yesterday. Things had not gone well. But today was another chance. You always have to be optimistic. Now the plan today was to do something we'd seen on a tourist map called the Jewish walking route. It's not an official thing, it's just kind of a way to walk around to see the history of Jewish people in the World War II years in Warsaw. Now today is Monday, so there weren't that many people around, so it was really nice to go through these kind of quiet neighborhoods with their cobblestones and the trees blowing around. Today was overcast and chilly, which is kind of how you want it if you're going to be in Eastern Europe in November. A lot of the Jewish walking route in Warsaw is centered in and around this area called the ghetto, the Jewish ghetto, which was this kind of walled-in section of the city where the Nazis put all the Jewish people. So walking around the area, you see like the places where suicides happened, you see buildings that were secret headquarters. The outlines of the ghetto wall, which is now torn down, are marked with these kind of lines on the pavement. It's all very stark and very well done. This is a train plaza whose German name is Umschlagplatz, and trains would leave here full of Jewish people to go out to Treblinka where they were all instantly killed. We came to this place called the Museum of the History of Polish Jews, and we weren't planning on going in anyway because I didn't really have enough time, but that was just as well because there was a huge line out front. We didn't know why here on a Monday in the off season of November. Maybe something special's going on. We found a record store. I popped in to see if I could find any Ray Charles, and I did. We looked for lunch, but we couldn't really find anything in the area we were in, so we had to settle on this place with the charming name of the Alcohol. Sounds like something you'd call your friend who drinks too much. You alcohol! But it really is a liquor shop, and in one little corner there's this little cafe. 1 table and 2 chairs, and that's where we ate. The lady there spoke English, and she was very friendly, and we got a bottle of gin each for lunch. No, just kidding. We got a piece of bread and some coffee, and we just sat at our little table and watched the cold gray Warsaw out the window. We then walked to this place called Pavia Prison, and it turned out to be closed because they were filming a movie there. And out front there were all these trucks, like catering trucks and makeup trucks and audiovisual trucks and all this kind of stuff. And we saw this woman who looked probably the lead actress being walked out to one of the makeup trucks for something. And so I was taking photos of things around the Pavia Prison, and there was this guy standing around who looked really angry, like he thought I was like a paparazzo. Do I look like I know or care anything about Polish celebrities? Self-important boneheads. Then we walked down to this big Jewish cemetery, but it was closed. The big doors were shut and you couldn't get in. Why would a cemetery be closed? But whatever. The next thing was supposed to be the real highlight of the day, the Warsaw Uprising Museum. There was something about in the Jewish ghetto in 1943 there was an uprising of some sort. I didn't quite know much about it, so I wanted to see this museum to explain it. And everybody said, do not miss this museum, it's amazing. We got there and there was another very weird long line. I don't know why these sites are so packed today on a Monday in November. But we waited about 45 minutes through this big long line. We bought our tickets, which were twice what we were expecting because the signs posted everywhere were for members of large groups, and there was only 2 of us. The first sign, we were not really welcome here. So we had our tickets, but we had to wait in another really long line just to get in the museum. This was where things really got annoying, because a lot of people were showing up in groups of 2 or 3, and some of their team was waiting in the entering line while the other person went to the ticket line. Self-important boneheads. Also making it worse was the fact that the doorman was being very slow letting people in. He would let 3 or 4 people in, then close it again. But if a big tour group full of like 20 people came in, he would let them go in ahead of everybody. By the time we got in, I was so mad that I suggested in all seriousness we just leave. We go right to the exit and we go home. But we decided to give it a shot. Now the first thing I saw was this bank of old-timey telephones from the 1940s. And you can pick one up and you hear a voice. And there's a little sign that explains in English what the voice is saying and things like that. But there was no overall context given. So I didn't really know exactly what the meaning of this voice was. What was the significance of the telephones? And the whole museum was like that. It was all these really, really well done displays, but I still didn't understand the story of what the uprising was. Yeah, these sacks of flour and these old rusted guns and all these things look really cool, but what does it all mean? What happened? We sat in a little theater to watch the film, but if you didn't already know about the uprising, the film didn't really explain it to you. I was so disgruntled, I really didn't take any photos inside the museum, so I have nothing to illustrate it with. We went outside, got on a tram that was headed for Centralna, and again we tried to pay, but again there was nowhere to buy tickets, so we just got off at Centralna with a free tram ride again. Now on one hand it's cool to have a free tram ride, but on another hand it also adds to the sense that Warsaw just doesn't know what it's doing. Anyway, it was dinner time for us. We were going to go to the Vietnamese restaurant near our place, which was open until 9. So we got there, it was about 6:30. We were tired and hungry, but happy to be there. We looked at the menu outside, we chose what we wanted, and we walked in. There were some tables, there was a guy eating over here, and the guy behind the counter looked at us and said something in a mean voice. And he said in English, "Close!" And we looked at each other, me and Masio, we said, "It's open till 9, it's only 6:30, there's a guy eating over there. You're here working and cooking things." And I kept looking at him like, "What?" And he said, "Close!" So me and Masio were standing outside looking at each other like, what is going on? And then the guy who had been eating inside, the customer, he came out, this older guy, and he kind of was laughing and he said something to us in Polish. And me and Masio kind of went, "Yeah, right." And he walked on. So nothing was open last night for dinner. Tonight something is open, but it isn't really open. What is happening? Well, the saving grace is that we ended up at a Bulgarian restaurant called Varna. I don't know what Poland's problem is, but we had to go to Bulgaria to get some satisfaction. The decor was really cool. The food was excellent. I had a pork cutlet with mushrooms and onions and cheese, and I had a bunch of rice and some salad, and a yogurt drink called ayran. We were thrilled to finally be eating. I took a big Humalog shot, threw my pants at the table, and I ate everything. So finally we were fat and happy, and we went back to the room, somewhat sated but still kind of drained. And the final thing I had to do was buy bus tickets for tomorrow from Warsaw up to Gdansk. And this was the final irritation of the day. All the websites where you can buy Polish bus tickets weren't really working that well. I would type in my to and from stations, I would type in the day and the time and the number of passengers, and a little list of options would come up. I would click one and it would say, "Okay, do you want to buy tickets?" But the buy button would be grayed out. Or I would click the buy button and it would say, "Oh, the carrier does not allow you to buy tickets," with no further explanation. It kept happening over and over, and I would go back a screen and it would forget all my information. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know why they don't want me to buy tickets. Same reason they don't want me to eat Vietnamese food or pay for my trams or understand anything about the Warsaw Uprising. I looked at the Wikipedia page for the Warsaw Uprising of 1943 and learned far more in about 5 minutes than I did from the entire museum. So what happened was the Jewish people in the ghetto had an uprising. It lasted about a month in 1943, April and May 1943. The Nazis brutally suppressed it. They killed everybody either in the ghetto or they shipped them off from Umschlagplatz to Treblinka. I wish I had known some of this context when I was in the museum. Maybe I could have appreciated what was going on. But enough ranting in this video. Now, two good things happened to end the day. I watched an NFL game on Game Pass. The Falcons won. America! And after the game, I found a website called Polski Bus. And the website works. We got our tickets from Warsaw to Gdansk for tomorrow. So all in all, I don't understand what the problem is with Warsaw, but to be honest, I'm glad to be leaving. I hope Gdansk is better. A good thing and a bad thing about today. I liked the way the old guy came out of the Vietnamese place and kind of joked with us a little bit and then walked on. It's always nice to see a bemused older guy who's taking things in stride. Kind of puts everything in perspective. Maybe I should just calm down about Warsaw. The bad thing has to be the museum. I'm sure it's a great museum, but if I don't understand what's going on, how am I going to learn anything? Teach me. I paid money to get in here. Diabetes thoughts for today. My blood sugar when I woke up was 222, which is fair enough after the nonsense of last night. In the alcohol, it was 188, and I'm always happy to see a blood sugar under 200 on this trip. Inside the Warsaw Uprising Museum, I checked, and it was 232, and I was so mad I didn't even get a picture, but I also didn't take any insulin. I thought, a museum this annoying deserves an annoying blood sugar. After the Bulgarian meal at Varna, my blood sugar was 249 before bed, but that's fair enough because I had a ton of rice, and I was stressed about everything in the day. So I took a few units of Humalog before bed. The average of all of today's blood sugars was 223. Can I blame Warsaw for that too? Well, tomorrow morning, Warsaw is going to deny us one last experience and piss us off one more time. Then a bunch of riot troops are going to move in just as we're leaving town. We're going to go up to Gdansk by bus, and I'm going to have excellent blood sugars all day long. Maybe all this was Warsaw's fault.